Hey guys, Seafood Les Clements here, Black Dragon Kung Fu. Thanks for watching. How can you tell if someone is concealing a weapon? Uh-oh, what is this? Oh, okay, the Black Dragon wants to say something. The concealing factor also has to be that you can access it. So the Black Dragon wants me to talk about concealing, but also deployment. Okay, this is a pretty long cane, as you can see. It's made of polypropylene. It's very hard, cannot be broken. It would have to be cut. It's unbendable and pretty much indestructible. So a weapon like this is really good for training, but it's not just a weapon. It's a common everyday object, a walking cane. It's totally legal. It has no blade, but this design here is worse than a blade. So the snake design here has a lot of purposes. So you see this little curve? So if this curve hits someone in the neck, it's gonna create quite a problem. But if we flip this over and this curve hits the neck, it's gonna be a lot worse because it's gonna hit deeper into the side of the neck, into the right level, someone can drop like a ton of bricks, okay? It has to take practice of understanding where this point is and have to hit it. And remembering, if you ever have to have combat with a person in the way that we're talking about, or empty hand, the consequences could be very grim. So anything we can do to avoid that violence is what we want at all costs. So how can I conceal a weapon like this on me if I need to? Well, if I'm in a short cycle, what I call, is someone approaches, but I had this available before, but it's not visible anymore. So let's say, for example, I'm walking and I see some people that don't see me, right? And I have a suspicion that they may be up to no good as I'm walking away. Maybe I'll, this here. Now, if I turn, it's very hard to see. You can see a little shadow down here, but little bit there. Now, if I turn this way, see how I'm here? It becomes even less visible. Now look where that, say that head comes out. Now keep in mind, right here, you can see this, but this arm is gonna be down and I'm gonna be turned back at an angle, so I'm hiding this. So when I grab, because I have this, the grip, this is going to allow me a lot of power. It's a giant lever, okay? Now the situation I described where you see someone, they don't really see you, but you know that upon your departure, you may not want to have this in your hand. Certain things can create attraction. It may not be that it's something else, but you could also have it like you're walking, but then again, that may not be a good idea because someone sees that, then it may entice them to try to take advantage. So practicality, concealment. So something like this can be concealed that way. The way I had it earlier was in my belt line behind, from the front, completely invisible. As long as my back is to a wall or in a corner, no one can see it. Now it's not practical to walk around with this in your belt line like this. Not practical. Under a coat, sure, but you don't need to, it's legal. So, what can this weapon do after we continue the cycle of deployment? Okay? When I say continue the cycle of deployment, we're constantly trying to continue on in our education of the fastest deployment with something like this. So here, deployment level here is a 10. Because I've got perfect control over it, it cannot be seen, and I can get to it. Deployment is, can you get to it? How fast can you get to it? Now, if I had it in my belt line like this, I push it up, yeah, I can get to it pretty fast, but not like I can here because it's already in my hand ready to go, you see? Now, there are other ways to conceal such a weapon that I'll get into a little bit later. Maybe on Patreon, I'm starting that in a couple of weeks or less. So when you hit with this weapon, you can hit very weak points on the body, okay? There's also a lot of joint locks you can do with this. Remember that flower we were doing? Cross on flower? all types of ways we can use it. Overhanded flower, here we go. Okay? Dangerous weapon. See how I'm changing that? Snake, I slide the snake to change. I can strike, pull back, and come out. I can hook, pull back. I can hook the neck, pull and kick, strike. All types of ways you can attack with a weapon. Beautiful weapon. So, that's a little bit on large weapon concealment. So what about small weapon concealment? Much, much easier. So I talked about it, getting and confronted in an alleyway or a dark parking lot. Let's say you're walking along and you see someone walking towards you. First thing, now you want to make sure there's no one else. Could be a setup. You don't see anyone else, right back. But you see my hand? No, you don't. See, because this is where we're going. Okay? Collapsible baton. Easily concealed, easy to collapse, right? You can get it pretty cheap. Now, sometimes when they spring open, they stick a little bit and they can be difficult to close. You just put it on the concrete and just tap it, it'll close right up. Okay, but it locks when it comes open. Now, a weapon like this, I can hit. You see this ball on the end? This will absolutely destroy someone's hand that's reaching out to grab you. You will destroy that hand, okay? Pop. Now, you could hit here, you could hit here. This is another legal weapon, but it has to be visible. So check your laws before you have something like this. There's even spring-loaded straight blades now, stilettos, which are actually legal here in Oregon where I live. The rule is, though, you have to have it visibly on your belt. No problem, it's just like a pocket knife. Most people, a lot of people out here just have a little pocket knife. Same thing, totally legal, but check with your laws. I recommend, if you're not gonna carry a gun, I recommend a weapon like this, or I recommend a cane. That's a very good one. There's other weapons I'll talk about that I would recommend. The blade, the consequences of a blade are gonna be a lot bigger, because if you hit someone here and bust their joints who's trying to grab you and hurt you and you can get away, you can injure them very badly, not lethally. But a blade, you may have to do much more damage. Blood is gonna flow, and we want to avoid that. Now, am I against carrying weapons? Absolutely not. I'm a fan of it, but I also have to understand, you gotta understand that is a much, much greater consequence if you have to use it. So firearms isn't really the discussion or the subject. I just wanted to say that. This is about concealing non-lethal weapons, okay? Now, this could be lethal, but generally in the hands of an expert, it doesn't have to be. That's my theory. So you can choke with this, you can whip with it, you can disarm with it, you can do tremendous damage with this weapon. And being concealed, I could sit right here like this on the street corner if I need it. You know, I just have this thing right here, I'm talking to someone, it's closed. If they rush me, there it is. Right as he's reaching out to grab, there it is. See? So, collapsible. Blades, if you know what you're doing and you have a higher level of understanding, sure. I'm not telling anyone what to carry. I'm making suggestions. Now, a lot of these suggestions too are based on Oregon law. Oregon's weird. You can have certain weapons, but they have, as long as they're visible. Like you can have a big machete on your belt, long machete, as long as the cops can see it, you're cool. So, depending on the laws, like I said, check with them. This is a good one. I do not recommend mace for women, self-defense. If you check out my women's self-defense site on Facebook, it's getting a little bit more sophisticated. I'm gonna probably start that back up more. I don't advise women to carry mace because deployment, it's very difficult to pull that out, aim the nozzle, the wind may be blowing, he may grab the hand, the nozzle may be flipped back. He may be immune to it. This happens. There are some men that you can spray in the face with mace and it won't even faze them. I met such men in the Marine Corps. But hopefully people that are using that don't run into those type of guys. But I don't recommend mace. Okay, stun guns. Stun guns are good because it's very difficult for someone to touch you without getting shocked. I like stun guns. Stun guns, tasers. A lot of times tasers are called, stun guns are called tasers. But an actual taser has the wire that comes out. And I don't think those are legal for the public. They may be, I don't know, but I wouldn't want to have one. Stun gun, sure. Collapsible baton, sure. I would stay away from blades. Guns, sure. If you're a responsible gun owner, you know what you're doing, I'm all for it because they teach you the best ways of, especially concealed carry. So responsible gun owners, absolutely. So if you found this video of concealment of weapons helpful, click the like button. Even better, subscribe, share if you like. Seafood Les Clements out.